begin the message, I would like to start with an introduction of the Rev Duvall, who wrote the message that we'll hear this morning. The Rev Duvall began her ministry at the Unitarian Church of Montpelier, Vermont in August 2015. She is the daughter of immigrants from the Philippines. She is a 2003 graduate of Swarthmore College and earned her Master of Divinity in 2012 from Yale Divinity School. Before responding to her call to ministry, Rev Joan followed a call to public service as a community and political organizer and nonprofit leader. She organized young voters in New Mexico, fought for workers' rights in Boston, and trained progressive political leaders in D.C. She also volunteered her time serving the Asian American community as an advocate of women's rights and immigrant and worker justice. In these contexts, and through her ministerial training, Rev Joan developed her passion for social and economic justice, anti-racism, and anti-oppression, creating the beloved community. Now, Defying Hate, Who is Our Neighbor? Adapted from a sermon by the Rev Joan Duvall. A familiar biblical story to many of us is the parable of the Good Samaritan. In this age-old teaching tale from the Gospel of Luke, a man is traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he is attacked by robbers. He is beaten, stripped of his clothes, and left on the side of the road. First, a priest comes along. The priest crosses to the other side of the road and keeps going. A Levite then comes and does the same. These were supposed to be especially religious and pious men in the Jewish community. So the story takes a twist when a Samaritan, an ordinary Jewish person, would have regarded with contempt, stops and helps the man. He bandages his wounds and takes him to a nearby inn where he can recover. With his simple action, the Samaritan defies hate in that moment. Just like the parable of the Good Samaritan, the story of the Alomars, a family who relocated to Southern California from Syria and described feeling alone in the United States, challenges us to reflect on who our neighbors are. Who do we consider to be one of us? How do we extend a welcome to those who are different from ourselves? Many religious traditions teach us to love our neighbors, though this is often easier said than done. The Alomars fled their home city of Dera, Syria, after the government responded to protests against Bashar al-Assad with tanks, helicopters, and troops. The family escaped to Jordan just before their home was destroyed by the Civil War. In Jordan, they were safe, but couldn't work or gain legal status. After 3 long years in limbo, they were resettled by the United States to California, but they still face isolation in a new country and are haunted by the violence and fear that caused them to flee their beloved home. Engaging with the story of the Alomar family, we must grapple with the reality of trauma and exclusion faced by many people who are displaced. One of our central religious tasks is to put ourselves in others' shoes, to try to understand the particular suffering they may be facing. The Alomar family carried with them the trauma of leaving behind all that is familiar and witnessing violence and terrorism in what was once their safe home. In addition to being in a new and unfamiliar land, they now face a society where many regard them as suspect and their religion as reprehensible. One way we can defy hate is by engaging in the embodied care of people we don't know or who are unfamiliar to us. Our faith teaches us that we are called to action in the here and now. We do not wait for salvation to come in the hereafter. Instead, we embody love today by caring for and offering hospitality to the stranger. Through our acts of care and generosity, we begin to forge relationships that resist the forces that alienate and instead invite us into mutual understanding and support. We can also defy taking responsibility for the culture we live in and resisting those voices that speak from a place of fear instead of acceptance and love. Speaking out against hate, especially in this politically charged atmosphere, is an important action. Our words matter, and we can choose whether they will be used as weapons to tear people down or as tools to build our beloved community. To defy hate is to promote an expansive notion of inclusion and welcome with our actions and with our words. It is to extend the universal love that is in us and surrounds us to all whom we encounter, especially those who live on the margins of society. We can speak out, both in our public and private lives, against hateful rhetoric that maligns Muslims, recent immigrants, and refugees. We can fill the nooks and crannies of public and private discourse with words of welcome and inclusion, saying with conviction that there is room for all. There is no one way to worship, and that our differences are not to be feared, but embraced. This may require courage at times when the voices of hatred are so loud and so violent. Yet the Alomar story beckons us to respond decisively. We must remember that the work of defying hate is not ours to take up alone. In community, we strengthen one another and find the resolve to continue. We co-create with one another and with the spirit of life a world more just, more compassionate, and more loving.
Thank you, Elaine. Now, Peggy.
First of all, I want to thank you for embracing me and bringing me into this congregation as a new member. I'm from Massachusetts, so I hope I don't bore you to death right now. But here we go. Defying hate, engaging the embodied care of people we don't know, and a call to action in the here and now. These concepts are embedded in the purpose and the work of Medicine Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, referred to as MSF internationally. The volunteers who work for this organization have got to be some of the most selfless, courageous people called to action to help relieve the suffering of refugees worldwide. You may have heard that MSF has an exhibit called Forced from Home. It's been traveling around the country and it opened yesterday in Philadelphia. It will be there until November 13th at the Independence Mall. So I had an opportunity to go yesterday, and I highly recommend it for anyone who would like to learn more about the plight of refugees around the world. It's a guided group tour, small groups, and takes you through some of the specific types of things that people are involved in. It's somewhat interactive. You get to take things with you and have to give up things as you go along. They focus on refugees from Syria, Honduras, Burundi, and South Sudan. There are approximately 65 million people worldwide who have been forced from home. Of the 65 million, 41 million are displaced within their own country. They're not considered refugees because they haven't crossed the border. Until you cross the border, then you're considered a refugee. I love the title of the exhibit. Because it emphasizes that people are not doing this of their own will. They are forced from their homes. They haven't left by their own choice. They're most often left because of violence and persecution, wars, gangs, brutal regimes, political disagreements and religious disagreements, and a They leave taking very few of their possessions for an unknown fate, often leaving family, beloved animals. That really touched me. And all they have worked for behind. They did so in order to avoid brutality, starvation, and death. My roommate in Worcester was a 30-year-old refugee from Jamaica. I don't think of Jamaica. He was a police officer there. He was a closeted gay man working in the police force. His fellow officers hated gays and would beat them and arrest them. Being openly gay in Jamaica is illegal and is punishable by 10 years in prison. In some countries, including Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iran, and Sudan, being gay is punishable by death. My friend Junior was lucky in that he sought and was granted asylum in the U.S. He had a very fabulous attorney, my friend said. Had he not been granted asylum, he would have been returned to Jamaica, where he most likely would have been beaten and killed by fellow police officers who hated gays, and now knew that he had been hiding from them, among them. Sorry for the emotion. Now I'm going to read from an NPR story that was aired earlier this year on June 20th, International Refugee Day. As of December 2015, there are 65 million displaced people according to the United Nations High Commission on Refugees. It's the first time in the organization's history the number has passed 60 million and represents nearly 10% increase over last year's total. That number represents immense human suffering. 1 in every 113 people on Earth has now been driven from their home by persecution, conflict, and violence. 2 other ways to wrap your mind around that number. Each minute, 24 people around the world flee their home because of violence and persecution. And if the world's displaced people were their own nation, it would be larger than the United Kingdom. An escalating humanitarian crisis in Yemen, ongoing violence in northern Nigeria, and persistent conflict in Colombia have contributed to the rising number of internationally displaced people, while the war in Syria drove an increase of refugees. 3 countries, Syria, Afghanistan, and Somalia, accounted for more than half of the refugees in the U.S. mandate. And most of those refugees, 86%, are hosted in developing countries. Lebanon hosts 183 refugees for every 100,000 inhabitants, the highest ratio in the world, while Turkey hosts the highest total number of refugees, 2.5 million people. More than half of the world's refugees in 2015 were children. A little more than 200,000 refugees were able to return home in 2015. Meanwhile, just 0.66% of the world's refugees were approved for resettlement in another country. That's the end of the NPR story. The U.S. accepts between 70 and 80,000 refugees worldwide per year. Now I want to do a quote that probably sounds familiar to you. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. The wretched refuse from your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. But I would also like to emphasize, as you've already so beautifully said, please vote on Tuesday. Now, do I have time for a few more just little announcement types of things?
That's probably it.
Okay. Besides voting on Tuesday, for those of you who are yogurt lovers, you may have heard the Chobani story. Chobani is a company that is run by a Turkish refugee. He has made it a purpose in his company of hiring refugees, but also of having minimum wage and being very good to his employees. He is now being targeted by a hate campaign home, they are boycotting Chobani yogurt. So we should take that up and buy Chobani yogurt. And I will leave some things from the Philadelphia